Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 301. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
It's a cold-ass day, let me tell you.
Oh,
it's a cold-ass day
outside.
today.
It's freezing.
Cold-ass day today. It is less than 20 degrees outside if you live in the northeast United States, or maybe even the northwest, or even even just like the mid-northwest. You will probably also be experiencing very cold temperatures, and I don't like it. Yesterday was 40 degrees. Now it's 15 degrees. I'm not going outside.
I love it, man. I like wearing a jacket. I like wearing, like, Timbs. I love it. I love this weather. Yeah, I hate the sweat. I am not a sun person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be, like, if I'm on a beach, I want to be under the umbrella. I'm not trying to get a tan. I hate the really, like...
Understood.
Like super, like the sweat. I'm not a sweat guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing I don't like about winter is, like, I don't mind bundling up and all that. I think that's kind of cool. But then you go out, and because you got all the stuff on, you start building up the sweat inside. Is you got t-shirt, the long sleeve, you got maybe a hoodie, the long jacket, the hat, the gloves, the scarf around the neck, right? Maybe you're wearing long johns underneath, pair of jeans, the big ass Timbs. Right? It's a whole big thing, and eventually you're going to get all that sweat, and you have to start taking off the layers. And then you're right back to square one.
What are you doing to work up that sweat? Like, yo,
I'm walking around, man. I'm walking around. I'm moving the body. That doesn't happen to you?
No,
it happens to me.
Listen, if I'm bundled like that, I'm not going to the mall, right? Like, come on. I'm going to a place where I can take all that stuff off. I'm going to a location where you can take off the coat. You can probably take the hoodie off, right? You should have a t-shirt on because I'm indoors.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing all of that to go
walk. What are you doing when you go shopping? How do you work that out? You got all the stuff bundled up?
No long johns.
Fair enough. Depends on the day, Sometimes
that makes you like sweat on the inside, like if you got long johns on and then you're like walking around.
But it feels so good when you're outdoors.
I'll take that heat. I don't mind. Listen, we don't live in Antarctica. I don't mind the cold. I'm good. I'm good the way it is, like 20 degrees, 15 degrees outside. You don't have long johns. It's a little cold. You got the coat. You good. Like, come on. I'm good with that.
Yeah, all right. All right.
So, the last episode, I said, I got infected. I was sick, right? I got the zombie apocalypse. I got bit by a zombie, right? This thing doesn't go away easy. I'm telling you right now. I'm still a little bit congested. I'm still a little bit sick. So just to put out there, I take it seriously because it doesn't. It's not like a cold where it goes away in like a couple of days. Like it's been 2 weeks, and I still have like a lingering cough and congestion. So this thing sucks. So I'm not going outside, even though I love the cold. I'm not going outside to make this worse.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. So all right.
Oh, okay. Side note. On a sad side note. Since I'm not going outside, I was like scouring YouTube just for, video game videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Nintendo Minute ended? Like they ended it. They ended the show. Like Kit, and I think her name was Krista.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They had like their final episode like a few weeks ago. Like that's crazy.
No.
Like I've been watching Nintendo Minute like for years. I used to love it. If you don't know what Nintendo Minute is, that was like the YouTube show on like Nintendo's YouTube channel, where like they would unbox all the new stuff. They unboxed the Switch. I think they did the unboxing for the Wii U, 3DS. Like they would.
Yeah.
That was like the voice, the mouthpieces for Nintendo on their YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah, they were awesome hosts. They wanted to be there. They were real energetic about things. Had real good production value. I was about that show. That's sad.
Yeah.
Are they not like replacing them with somebody?
No, like the series just ended. They just said they just ended it.
Oh wow, that's a shame.
That kind of sucks. I'm gonna miss them. I kind of like their dynamic together.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you can tell they both truly love like Nintendo stuff and Nintendo games.
Oh
And
yeah.
So that's a sad note. I'm gonna miss them. They're always welcome to come on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right, let's get the show on the road. We have an awesome show this week.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, we talk about the biggest video game acquisition in history, and Microsoft wasn't involved.
Oh, shoot.
Surprising, right? Also, we talk about rumored new Killer Instinct game in development. I hope this is true. I pray this is true, because I love Killer Instinct.
Same. Well, it's been like 6 years since KI launched.
Yeah, 2014, right? I think it was 2014.
Oh, 2014 even. Yeah, right. Well, 2013 technically, because it launched with the system. You could download Killer Instinct for free and play as Jago for free, or buy the full version digitally. Yeah.
Yeah. The complete edition. The complete edition is expensive. I have the complete edition, but I don't have I have the GameStop box. I don't have the
not the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all came out. Every new iteration came out physically. So there was like Pack 1, Pack 2, and I think Pack 3. There was like 3 seasons of new fighters that came to the game. Like they really supported that for a while, and it was good. It was pretty solid.
So we'll talk about that later in the show. But let's begin the show with my most anticipated game of 2022. No, it's not Starfield. No, it's not God of War. It's Kirby, the new Kirby game, the post-apocalyptic Kirby game I've been looking forward to. Open world style. It's coming. We have a release date. It's funny because last episode we talked about, the things that we're looking forward in 2022, and I said I can't wait till we get a release date for Kirby. And my wish was granted. I didn't have to wait a couple of days.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's coming out March 25th, so Christmas 2. I look forward to playing the post-apocalyptic Kirby game.
It's
super excited.
I was watching the trailer again because you said that the last time that it's post-apocalyptic. I mean, it ain't Fallout, but it's like I guess it's the Nintendo-fied version of the post-apocalyptic future with all the little Kirby enemies in there, and you're kind of going around the wastelands or the ruins of whatever kingdom he's in. I forget. So
but come on, doesn't it look cool, right? Like most Kirby games look like they're super easy, and this could be easy, but like this is like an open world style Kirby game. Think of Mario Odyssey just with like Kirby in it, right? Like, and you can imagine if you can like swallow any enemy and turn into that, just like Cappy. You throw Cap on any enemy and you turn into that enemy. It's same premise.
It could be really cool because Odyssey, in my opinion, is the best 3D version of Mario, possibly the best Mario game, hands down. I think.
No. Correct. You were right the first time. You were incorrect. You should just
look. I'm not trying to get in.
It's the best 3D Mario game.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to get into that discussion again, but
okay.
It's better than 64, better than Galaxy. It's better than all of them because it's the culmination of everything that they learned since 64. It's got the best controls. Everything's very tight. The way when you collect stars and you don't have to leave the level, it's all those little things that all come together, give you a nice, tight, cohesive Mario game.
So I agree with you. I agree with you. The best 3D
okay.
Mario
So
game.
Kirby, Kirby could be that. This could be the culmination of years and years of Kirby development. Could be really awesome. I mean, it's cool. I'm not going to poo-poo it, but I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not over the moon about it. I don't know. I'll have to give it a whirl before I really give my opinion.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Good deal.
Because we all know Super Mario World, best Mario game of all time.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Okay, I'm just
here we go. Well, you got to let the people know, Dan. Got to let the people.
Yeah, just in case they forgot, you got to remind them. That's all. So so let's shift. Let's still stick with Nintendo, but let's shift to Nintendo Online. If you have a Nintendo Online account, you can get Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which probably one of the best games on the Wii U. Came to the Switch, right, with extra level and Mario Odyssey themed levels.
Yep.
It's free in North America through June 13th through the 20th. So if you listen to this when we drop, because I think this episode drops on the 18th, you have 2 more days. If you have Nintendo Online to play this game, and this is a really good game. I like this game.
It's fantastic.
Damn good game.
Considering it was a kind of, I don't want to say throwaway, but maybe a throwaway minigame in Mario 3D World for the Wii U.
Yes.
And they decided to, let's make this a full-blown thing because people love it. And they did, and it was great. And then they made the Switch version with the new levels and all that. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. And listen, I always talk on the show about my cousin, my 12-year-old cousin, who's probably at this point like 15. I've been saying he's 12 for like 3 years.
I know. You're really bad with numbers, man.
Really bad with numbers.
Bad with birthdays. You owe him some presents. Ages. You owe him some back presents.
Yeah. I always say he never lets me play Fortnite with him because he says I'm terrible at it.
Right? You got to get good, Dan.
And I said, you know what? You can't play 2K with me because you're terrible at basketball games. So there you go.
Hit him with the pick and roll. He won't know what's coming.
He may let me play Fortnite with him now. He may let me. You know why? Because now it looks like if you're a noob Fortnite type of player, Fortnite may be for you because now they sort of scrapped in this edition, the building element of Fortnite, the no build mode.
Right. So they have now essentially gone 180 degrees from their initial game, right? Originally, Epic was going to have this kind of zombie base defense simulator game, right? Where you would build up a base tower and you would get materials, you'd put down traps, and you would defend your kind of base from the zombies, and you'd last as long as possible. That was the original thrust of the game. Then it turned into this battle royale thing, no zombies, right? They switched it all around. Now they've completely removed the building aspect of it. So now it's just a shooter.
I'm good with that. I'm cool because it's trying to be a shooter, trying not to get sniped, and trying to build a fort.
It's a lot of things. Yeah.
A lot of things working at once.
A lot of things going on.
Kids mastered it, right? Where I didn't really have time to master it. So I still don't want to play, I'll be honest. But the building aspect of it was the thing that oh my God, I gotta build a fort. And as I'm building a fort, I'm getting sniped.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm still not gonna play Fortnite, so I'm good. But at least if I ever decide to, I know I can do just a straight go straight Call of Duty mode, right? No building.
Yeah. So. Well, I played this a little bit for I don't know, maybe a few weeks. It was fun for sure, and I did okay. I got in maybe the 40s or 50s. Out of the 100, so I was kind of in there. I'm sure if I practiced, I could kind of be all right, but Halo is more of my jam. I like it. I like the setting a lot better. It's a lot more gritty. I don't want to say it's more adult, but I guess it's more adult because, everybody plays Fortnite, so you get a lot of kids on there. And, I'm good at Halo, I guess, is the thing. I was already good coming in, good to Halo Infinite, right? And I've gotten real good, so I can get top of the leaderboards every time I play. So I can deal with that. Fortnite, it's all right. It's all right.
So Dave, that part of the show, that time of the show, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail.
Yep.
What have you been playing?
Oh, I got back into one of the games that shaped my childhood. The PC masterpiece, Command & Conquer. Command & Conquer Red Alert specifically, because I got the special edition.
I haven't heard about that in a long time.
I know. It was back when Westwood Studios was still Westwood Studios and was not acquired by EA, and then enveloped, and then broke off and turned into Petroglyph Studios, for which I think they still make games, which is kind of cool. But Petroglyph did do the remaster, and I talked about it before, but I was playing some of the multiplayer again because I had the itch, and I wish the game was more moddable. You can make custom skirmish maps to do like head-to-head and all that, or like 8v8 or whatever it is. But you can't really like mod it to add other stuff into the game, at least like easy enough. So the hard mode is not that hard. I can like ace it every time. I need more of a challenge with that game. So yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, besides the aforementioned Halo, still going through on the Halo because I'm about 20 levels away from 100, which is the end of the battle pass. So then you're basically not really unlocking anything else except for weekly challenges. So I got to wait for those new bits to come out. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, all right. I beat Judgment. Right.
The OG Judgment.
The prequel to Lost Judgment. Even though Judgment came out first, but yeah, it's the prequel. Technically,
right.
It's the first one. Yeah, all right. Like
Did you
Mario 2, right? Super Mario Brothers is the prequel to Mario 2.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Mario 2 is a dream that Mario had one night, and he goes into the dream world.
So Super Mario 3, so the original Super Mario Brothers is the prequel.
No, that's not how prequels only work. Well, you put a game out and it happens in that timeline, and then you say, "Here's what happened to the protagonist 5 years earlier." That is a prequel. No,
there you go.
It's the original. It's not a prequel.
The prequel is what happened before.
No. It's the original game, and it's a sequel. It's only a prequel if the earlier events in the timeline come out after the original piece. That's how that works.
The prequel is the first thing that happened. Okay?
No, it's not. That's just a game. That is a game.
The prequel.
No, it's not. That's not how that works.
Well, you know what? I was listening to the Game Scoop so earlier, a couple of episodes ago, and they had a discussion, an argument about like the best, like what's the best first game in the series, right?
Sure.
And somebody said Final Fantasy IX is the best first game, and they said, well, that's impossible because it's the 9th game in the series. It's like, no, his argument was every Final Fantasy game, it's its own game. It's not,
with very few exceptions, that's true. They just share elements. They share gameplay elements and some characters, style of characters turn up in other games like Sid.
So the whole argument for like half the show was Final Fantasy IX is the 9th installment of Final Fantasy, and he said no, it's just called 9. It has nothing to do with 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's exactly
5, 6,
right.
7,
there is no narrative thread that ties them all together.
So
that is a very good point. I could see that argument.
No, Final Fantasy IX
100%
is no, it's not. It's Final Fantasy IX. It is
okay.
It is a sequel.
Okay, hold on.
It says it in the title.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and posit. Go ahead and posit this to you. Okay. If they reboot a franchise, I can't think of a good example right now, but if they reboot a franchise, they reboot Tomb Raider and say we're going to kick the story out, do a brand new story.
They did that with the new Tomb Raider.
Okay, exactly. Now, do the old Tomb Raiders count? Because that's its own thing, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
If they call it Tomb Raider 12.
So what if I make a new Mario game and call it Tomb Raider 12? Does that count? Is it just the name?
Yes. That counts.
That's the thing that brings it together.
That counts.
So Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm then would be the best Final Fantasy game. Like,
there you go.
I think you need to make distinctions in terms of the franchise. Like, Final Fantasy Tactics is a completely different game than any of the mainline Final Fantasies. The gameplay mechanics are completely different.
Yeah, but if they come out with Final Fantasy Tactics 3, right? Tactics 2 and then Tactics 3.
Well, they did A2.
That's its
Tactics
own,
A2.
That's its own series right there. It is the sequel to the original Final Fantasy Tactics.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends what your criteria is. If your criteria is gameplay mechanics, then
Final Fantasy 9. It's the 9th installment.
Well, again,
the Final Fantasy games.
Gameplay mechanics wise, yes. Story wise, no. So it depends what your metric is. That's right. What it comes down to. He is saying that the story, narrative bits, and the characters are the thing that ties the franchise together. And I could see that argument. All I'm saying is Final Fantasy VIII is the prequel to Final Fantasy IX. That's all I'm saying. Oh my god! So, considering one has like trains and cars and it's futuristic, and one is like high fantasy.
Yeah,
that would be kind of weird.
The prequel. So I beat Judgment, the first in the series.
That is what we're talking about. You beat Judgment. Okay.
I love Judgment, and I see the little differences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I talked about it last week. Definitely the little differences. I still like Lost Judgment better, even though the final boss battle was pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got more of that in Lost Judgment than in Judgment. Judgment is a lot of talking, a lot of side quests that you had to do, right? And they did some of that in Lost Judgment.
Well, okay, if you have to do a side quest, it's no longer a side quest. It's a main story.
So you would get like off track, right? It's like you get off track and it's like, hey, you got to help me with this.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the main story that you've been doing all game.
I see.
You sort of still have to do it to progress to the next.
But it's not part of the main narrative bit. Wow,
it has nothing to do with like
kind of weird.
The main boss or whatever I'm dealing with. I'm trying not to spoil it because I know you haven't played it.
I haven't. So, no.
It has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you still got to do it to progress to whatever's happening over here with the main story.
Right.
And remember when we first started doing the show and we talked about Persona 5 and how the story is just like outrageous.
Yeah, it's bananas.
It's out of this world, and is we said the cultural differences because it's like a Japanese game, Japanese centric.
Yep.
Same thing in Judgment. The story is bananas, but I don't I don't get it personally. Some of the tropes I didn't get, but I understood it's a different culture, so they value different things over there than we do here in America. So it was this. I really just wanted to get to the end to see who the culprit was, because you don't really know until you get like sort of 2 chapters before the end.
Okay.
Like, okay. This is really the bad guy.
Right.
I didn't know it was him.
Shaggy ends up pulling off the mask. You find out who the real culprit was.
Yeah. It was, and you know what I love about Judgment though? If you like the Yakuza games, if you like Shenmue, this is like in that vein. Everything is like chapter based, like TV.
Okay.
Like a TV show. So after you end one chapter, the start of the next chapter is telling you previously on Judgment.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
And it tells you everything that happened in the last chapter. Just in case you put the game down, you didn't play it for a while.
That's a thing they need to do in every single video game. When you put it down for more than a couple days, you come back to it in a month, maybe, right? Maybe that's the metric, right? Based on the in-game clock, it'd be easy to do. You go, here's what you did last, and then you go, oh, and here's what you were starting to do, maybe, right? They give you a hint on like where you were going and your like last thing, because I'll load up a game, and I'll load up, let's say, Final Fantasy 12, and I'll go, I don't know where I was going or what I was supposed to be doing, right? And I have to look up a guide, and I'm like, all right, I'm here right now. What's the next bit in the story? All right, and then I'll go and do that. But it takes, like, a good 10 minutes to figure out, like, okay, what was I doing last? Hate it.
So, nope, I beat Judgment about 23 hours to beat, right? Damn good game. Can't wait. Now I want like the next game. I want Judgment 3. Can't wait, because you know that it's in development. So
yeah.
On that note, let's take a break. We'll come back. we get into the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. All right, let's talk about the top gaming news of last week. Let's start. Lead story. This was the biggest video game acquisition in history, and Microsoft wasn't involved. Take-Two Interactive has acquired mobile developer Zynga. Let that sink in. Zynga for $12.7 billion. Like $billion, not million, billion.
Yep.
I didn't know Zynga was worth that much. I didn't know Zynga. I mean, mobile games, like brings in like the biggest revenue.
Oh, right? Of course, because they're all based on microtransactions. Yeah.
But I didn't know Zynga was that big.
Sure, well, go ahead.
Well, before I let you speak, there is a tie-in with Microsoft. Funny enough, because what was the name of the Microsoft boss back in 2013 before Phil Spencer? Like, when he did that terrible.
You mean
if you want to play video games? If you want to play video games offline, we got a 360 for you.
Well, that's Don Matrick for you. He was king, man. He was king of oof.
So Don Matrick, who was vilified by the gaming community after those statements and after E3, right?
Yep.
And left shortly after that, and Phil Spencer, who I love, took over. He left to become the CEO of Zynga. So don't cry boo-hoo for him, because for $12.7 billion, I'm sure he got a good I'm sure he got a good parachute.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, if you're unsure who Zynga is, you have played one of their games, guaranteed. Farmville, Words with Friends, Empires and Puzzles, Toon Blast, Merge Dragons. No, Candy Crush is King Games. Yeah.
Okay.
Who famously tried to sue the company that made Banner Saga for using the word saga in their name because they had Candy Crush Saga, and now they're trying to.
I remember that. I think we talked about that.
We did on the show. We did. That lawsuit got thrown out. Thankfully enough, you can't copyright a common word like saga. It's not. Candy Crush Saga is one thing. Just saga by itself is not going to cut it. So, but Zynga, I believe even bigger than King Games. And what you said, $12.7 billion? Is that right?
$12.7 billion.
So, for context, the ZeniMax Media Bethesda buyout by Microsoft was priced at $8.1 billion. All right, the Tencent purchase of Supercell, which is famous for Clash of Clans, I think, among other things, was
Clash of Clans.
$8.6 billion. So, right, they just keep topping each other like it's some sort of like Heritage Auctions WATA sealed video game, right? This one's going now for $15 billion, right? Where's the $15 billion buyout? That's definitely coming next. So wow.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy that they actually bought Zynga. So they definitely want to get into. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we talked about. There were rumors that Sony wanted to buy Take-Two, or maybe Microsoft would buy Take-Two, right? And Take-Two, they bought. This is their second acquisition. So they bought. Remember, last summer, I think they bought the rights to that racing game company. At the top of my head, they made like Dirt.
Right,
all of those games.
Colin McRae Rally, Dirt, Codemasters, I think is.
Codemasters, yeah.
Right.
They bought Codemasters. Right. So now, EA. No, was that EA?
That may have been EA. I thought it was. No. I'm pretty sure it's Take-Two. Yeah.
No. It was EA. EA has cornered the market in racing games, right? I think it was EA that bought Codemasters.
Oh yeah, there you go. So Take-Two was in the running. And we were speculating how great that would have been, because the driving mechanics in Grand Theft Auto games never been that great. They're good, and they always get better, but it's not anything to write home about. And you would think, oh, you can use Codemasters technology and their all their like wonderful team members to build out a good driving engine for GTA. And then EA comes in and says, we're going to go ahead and buy them out. So that's what it was. They were in they were in the running, and they used that money to buy Zynga. Probably there you go.
A better purchase for them, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, now they possibly could bring BioShock, Grand Theft Auto, or Midnight Sun. I think was actually mentioned. Midnight Club,
Midnight Club,
to mobile devices.
Yay. I mean,
I'm still waiting for my BioShock Vita. Come on.
Yeah, well, that would have been cool because that would have been like a portable version of BioShock. I mean, you can just play it on the Switch now, so you've got your portable version of it. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to these like microtransaction heavy games, these mobile centric video games. Like, nothing against mobile games, but I just hate when they nickel and dime you. And like Zynga's king of that. You know, they're always like, here's a 5-minute timer, and once the timer's done, then you got to wait, as you only get X amount of times to play the game, or you can buy more gems and buy more gold and iron and whatever it is. And it's like, I just want to pay a flat price, play the game, and be done with it. But that's not how they make all their money. It's like, oh, it only costs 99 cents to get 100 gold pieces or 200 gold pieces or whatever it is. So,
come on, we're going to have an NBA 2K Zynga mobile game. Where you got to pay to get players, pay to get outfits, pay to be in the playoffs. It's going to be ridiculous. We're going to get so many of Take-Two properties.
Yeah,
in the mobile spaces.
I saw a bunch of people playing the Injustice mobile fighting game, and
I had it for my iPad.
It's not great, right? Because they it's all power level restricted.
Cool. No, I thought it was cool when I played it on my iPad like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right, but you have to grind to get your character up into fighting shape, right? Wasn't that the bit? You'd have to keep leveling them up so you could be able to fight somebody. So it was never on even ground. You were always down by some sort of behind the scenes metric or whatever, and you got to essentially spend money to power up your guy far enough.
Listen,
right?
Man, I was undefeated against the computer. That's all
I'm sure you were. You sit there and you just go like this, and he starts doing a 20-hit combo. It's like, I'm good.
My fingers are fast. My fingers are fast. Come on, keep pushing the touchscreen on the iPad.
Oh.
So I remember I used to love that. I actually really liked that game when it came out on the iPad. And that was when the iPad really they had I forgot which chip that was, and it was you could play really good games, console quality games on your iPad.
I think that's probably when they announced their metal architecture or whatever it is.
Yeah,
which
I think it was.
Really.
I think that was.
Yeah, I remember that time.
I think it was around that time. So,
yeah.
But that's not the biggest news to come out of Take-Two. Right? If you ask me, it was our lead story. But the biggest news to me is in a financial report, because I love my financial reports. I love my stockholder phone calls. Right? That's where we usually get the rumors from. It suggests that we may be getting GTA 6 March of 2024.
Sure, I could see it. I could see it.
I think honestly. I think it's probably coming in 2023. And I'll tell you, it could be 2024, but the last GTA 5 came out originally in 2013.
Right,
for
right.
PS4, Xbox 360.
Well, PS3 360, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, PS3, 360, and then it came out the next year, the remastered version for next gen PS4. Because
it was legit. It was legit, right at the cusp of the new generation. And why would you not? It's been released on everything now. It's even on PS5 and Xbox Series X. You have an updated version, so it's crazy.
And I think you had mentioned it's probably done already, right? 2024 would make 11 years.
Well, I can guarantee you that they could release it this year if they wanted to. And I can guarantee you that they started development right after the first one finished. They started, doing the kind of groundwork for it, because that's what they said with
Red Dead.
With Red Dead Redemption, is that they started it immediately after they finished the first Red Dead. They saw the numbers, it did really well. They said, okay, let's get started on, and they weren't like an active development, but they were like, all right, what is this game? What is the new game going to be about? Right? They already started building it. So that had an 8-year development cycle, right? And they always top themselves, Red Dead being one of the biggest games of all time, definitely one of the biggest, the biggest game to come out of Rockstar's portfolio. It was all hands on deck. Everybody was working on that game. And I'm gonna also say, besides the definitive edition of GTA, right, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, which wasn't even developed by Rockstar, so it was developed by a third-party company to do the remaster and all that. What have they been working on, right? They have GTA Online, sure. They've been putting out new content for that, but you don't need a full team to do that. You need a small team. They've done nothing with Red Dead 2 Online. There's been like no new content recently. So what do you do? Right? What are they working on? Has to be Vice City, or I'm assuming the new version of Vice City or whatever it is, right? Because that's the last city to get the like new generation update. So
yeah, well, GTA
guaranteed,
I think.
Yeah.
So look, Take-Two, they're smart, right? Like they know if they put out, because GTA 5 is still like top of the charts, right? Like people still, who doesn't own Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Who doesn't own Minecraft? Who doesn't own GTA 5?
Oh, I looked up the charts, the UK charts. It is still on the UK charts, GTA 5. It is still selling.
Own it? Who doesn't own it? But
I don't. Who doesn't own 2 copies of it at this point?
So I think they know, like, if they, next GTA 6 is current gen only. It's not going to be PS4, not going to be Xbox. It's going to be PS5, Series.
Oh yeah,
no.
There's no reason to put it out on previous gen consoles.
They know it's a system seller, right? At this point, like if they put out GTA 6, everybody, the demand for a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X will go up even more than it already is, right? And let's say, they want $70, like it's going to be $70 game. We know systems are hard to get right now, mostly because developers is not really in the hands of actual players. And these companies know it because they can see the software sales, right? So I think they're waiting for the chip shortage to die down a little bit and consoles to be readily available, because they want to make as many $70 purchases as possible.
Well, sure.
Up front, right? Because yes, if chip shortage ends 3 years from now and they put out GTA 6 this year or next year, 3 years from now, GTA 6 is going to be come down in price, right? Because it's going to be like an older game. It's going to be
eventually,
$40, $30, right? So they want to make as many $70 purchases as possible, which is why I think it'll come out like in 2023, like 10 year. I think a 10-year cycle, not an 11-year cycle for 2024. I think they need something to put on the books at some point, like holiday of next year. That's my 2 cents for that.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting to like think about it that way. I don't know if any company has ever taken that position to where.
Oh, I believe they have.
I don't know.
No one's saying it. No one's gonna openly say, you know what, we're gonna wait because we want to get as many, full, price purchases as possible. So we'll wait till the system is ready.
Well, they wouldn't say it like that. They would say we want to wait till for a bigger install base. Like I'm sure back in the day companies would wait to see. Let's see how well the 3DO does. Let's see how well the N64 does before. Let's see how well the Switch does.
The Switch does. Yeah, I was just
before
about to say,
before we jump into it. Yeah. Before we jump into it, right? But I mean, we're well beyond that now. Like,
because look, GTA 5. You said it's still top 10 the UK charts.
It's still selling, exactly.
Yeah,
Why would they put out a competing product which everyone would then move
Easy.
to GTA 6?
Easy, because that product is selling at $20 when they can sell $70 game. And
but it's still making money though. It's still top of the charts.
It's not really making money. It's not making that much. I doubt.
It's top of the sales charts, Dan.
Yeah,
it's obviously making money.
$20. They want you to pay $70.
Well, it's $20.
Buy all the new microtransactions.
I get that, but I mean, but then you lose all the revenue from GTA 5. It just ends. All right? People stop playing.
And you're gonna make all that back because they're gonna transition from 5 to 6.
It's got to be good though. All right, that's the thing. You know, Rockstar is quote unquote a Rockstar developer, yes, but they could put out a stinker like the GTA Definitive Edition. You know, nobody's playing that game now.
I don't think
nobody's playing that game, and they put that out early.
I don't think they cared.
They put that out early.
I don't even think they care, to be honest.
Well, they definitely don't care because they're not really doing much to improve it. And every time they put out a patch, it still doesn't fix the issues, even though it says in the patch notes we fixed the issue. So you're right. Yeah, they definitely don't care.
I don't think
they definitely don't care. That is the unloved stepchild of Rockstar's pantheon of video games. And I don't think it's ever going to be fixed. No,
they don't give a shit about that port. So
they should have.
All right, let's transition. You know, like again, what are you playing GTA 6 on? You want to play it on a PS5?
I would love to. Yeah.
But because of chip shortages, not a lot of PS5s, not a lot of Xbox Series X's out there in the world. So Sony is pivoting somewhat, and they're gonna make PS4s because production is just easier to make PS4 Slims, not Pros, by the way. Right now. And I'm not really mad at it. I kind of understand it, right? Because a lot of the big first party games that are coming out this year are cross gen, right? You got Horizon Forbidden West that's coming out in February. You got Forza Motorsport 7.
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah,
right? That's coming out in March.
All right, God of War.
Some point in the fall, we don't have a release date. God of War is coming out, and it's all going to be cross-gen, right? So it's just easier to produce PS4 because you can't buy a PS4 or an Xbox One. Xbox sort of discontinued the Xbox One in December of 2020. We didn't know. Nobody knew about that. So I'm not really mad at this. That kind of makes sense, right? Like,
well, I mean, what's there to be?
Get a bump.
What's there to be mad at, right? If it doesn't affect PS5 production, which we would assume it wouldn't, then what? Who cares? Like, let them put out as many PS4s as they want. Now, the only thing I would be mad at is, and I was mad at this when Gran Turismo 7 is now come. I know Dan's gonna go ahead and roll his eyes when
into it,
right? Because they said Gran Turismo is a PS5 exclusive, right? And
didn't know about the chip shortage. So yes, you're correct. They didn't know about the chip shortage.
I'm not trying to say any of that. I'm not even talking about the chip shortage. I'm just saying you put out a game, or you put out a press conference, or a like an E3 presentation conference or whatever it is, and you say here's the roadmap for PS5. Here's some games that are in development for PS5 only. I'm going to be excited as the average consumer. Here's some games I can only play on this system. This is why I want to put money down for the future games that come out.
The system that you cannot buy, and you have a PS4, you can't get a PS5, and they said, you know what, for you,
well, you know what?
We're looking out for you. We want you to be able to play Horizon, the sequel. We want you to play God of War, the sequel, and we want you to play Gran Turismo.
Well,
you've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for the mainline series since PS3. Gran Turismo Motorsport, the Gran Turismo on PS4 wasn't a mainline series; it was a side series. So,
well, just because it doesn't have it doesn't have a 7 in the title doesn't mean it's not a full-fledged game. It is,
but it's not mainline series. just like Forza and Forza Motorsport.
You're saying it wasn't a AAA game? You're saying it wasn't made by Polyphony Digital? No, it was a full-fledged game.
It's a side. Is that the main one?
Well, anyway,
it's a Final Fantasy Tactics compared to Final Fantasy.
No, it's not. It's a racing game. Yes. It's always been a racing game. It's the same mechanics. It's the same cars. It's the same thing. It's just got VR support. Anyway. A, you're editorializing, and B, PS4 has already got an install base of like thousands of games. There is more than enough for you to play on a previous gen console and have fun with it and be okay and have a great experience. Gran Turismo Sport. Yes, Gran Turismo Sport.
That's it. That's all you got. The spin-off, not the mainline series.
And you can play Dirt, and you can play Need for Speed, and you can play all the other games.
I only want like the realistic racing sim game from the mainline.
All right, so what if I want Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart? Then what? All right, if you're gonna make the example of one singular game that now I can play on the previous gen console, you can make that for any game, and then say why not put all the games on the previous generation.
That turns your argument upside down. You're saying, oh, well, I got this console. Well, I should have only exclusive games. Well, you got Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, why would you buy it? Well, that's what I'm saying. Also, don't put Gran Turismo on the previous gen console because it's gonna increase the development cycle, and they could have had that game out. They could have had that game out by November if they didn't have it on the previous gen console.
Totally wrong.
Because now you got to make it backwards compatible, and it's got to be smooth, and it's got to have a good.
We don't want to leave all these kids behind who got PS4s for Christmas because they couldn't get a PS5, but we want to make sure they have something to play.
I mean, that's probably true, but if you have no exclusives on your next-gen console, that kind of sucks.
You have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You
but
have
the argument you're making is like, I want to play this one game. Well, what if I want to play this other game, right? You can make the argument for any game. Put everything on the previous-gen console, and then the PS5 doesn't matter.
You should be mad at Microsoft, you Xbox fanboy. Be mad at Microsoft. They lied to me. They said everything will be cross-gen. I could play any game on my Xbox One. I can't play the medium, or couldn't play the medium when it first came out. I can't play Flight Simulator. I can't play that.
Okay.
That's not playable on Xbox One.
That's fair.
They lied.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sony's doing something noble.
But this is
saying, you know what? We don't want, because you can't get it, because if you can get PS5, it would only be a PS5 game.
But here's what the difference between those two is, right? Microsoft saying, hey, you can play everything on your current console that you own already is a $0 purchase because I already own the console, right? Saying, okay, here's a bunch of games that are PS5 exclusive is a $400 to $500 purchase.
Because it's not a zero purchase.
It's a $400 to $500 purchase.
You can't get the console. It's zero. It's the same thing.
Taking that out of the equation.
You can't take that out of the equation.
Well, then it doesn't even matter because I can't play any of these games, and then it begins and ends at nothing.
That is the actual equation.
We're talking about next gen. We're talking about next gen.
$0 purchase. You can't get a PS5. You can't.
Well, no, we can, and we have, so we both have them. So that point is me. You can get them. You just have to put the effort in. It's not like but
then you can play the best version of Gran Turismo 7 on the PS5. So that's your moot. That's a moot point for you too.
That's not worth $500 for most people. It's not.
You don't know that. That's
not everybody bought a PS.
Can't get the PS5. They can't buy it.
Not everybody bought it.
Only scalpers.
Not everybody bought a PS4 Pro, and not everybody bought a Xbox One X. And that is a better version that you can play all these games on with better frame rates and better graphics and all that, and maybe 25, maybe 30%. No, it's true.
Your point is mute because people can't get the console. If people can get the console,
we have them though, and we can play it. So you obviously can.
That's just us. That's just us.
No, it's not luck. We put the work in, Dan. We put the work in. It's not magic. We put the work in to get
consoles. Joe got you your consoles. What work did you put in? Joe got you your consoles.
I was on there every
Somebody
day.
else got you your consoles.
I was on there every day trying to get the console. You were on there every day trying to get the console.
I actually put the work in and got it myself.
I know.
Bundle.
There's no luck involved, Dan. You went out, you found it, you spent the money, and that was it.
It was 2 minutes, sold out 2 minutes later.
If you didn't put the hustle in every day to look for those consoles, you wouldn't have gotten it. So you can get it. If you want it,
only
you can
is
get
valid.
it.
No, that's not true. Your point is only valid if you could get PS5s out there. Like if it was,
but then they wouldn't put it on the PS4. That's the whole reason. That's the only reason they're doing it. Is because of the chip shortage. They want to make money. Bottom line.
Of course. No.
Yeah, that's it. Bottom line. They want to make money.
No, they're doing something good for the gaming community. Come on.
You can look at it that way, but that's not their thrust.
If this was Microsoft, if Microsoft said the next Halo game is only on a Series X, and they say, because people can't buy Series X's because it's being scalped and it's not the chip shortage, we're gonna make sure it's playable on Xbox One. You would be like, Microsoft is such a good company. They're doing it for the gamer.
No.
Yes, you would.
No.
Yes, you would.
Because that's a one-to-one example. All right.
Yes, you would.
The example with the Medium cost me $0 because I already have the previous generation console.
Not true.
I didn't spend money. I didn't spend money with the prospect of new games coming out that were going to be exclusive.
Not true.
It changes. It is.
Not true.
How is it? How is it not true?
I could have brought.
I already own the system. I
could have brought the Series.
Yes, I could have spent extra money.
I decided not to because I'm gonna wait for exclusives because they're telling me I can play all these games.
You can't get it because of the chip shortage.
These games come out, and I lost my chance. I lost my chance to buy a Series X.
You didn't.
I should have just bought it. I did.
Because you can't because of the chip shortage.
I put in the work.
No.
I almost got it.
Dan.
I could have got it. I decided not to.
No, there's a chip shortage.
There's somebody out there who could have got it and decided not to get it. Because you know what? The Medium I can play.
They don't need it. It's one game. You're making this hypothetical to where GTA 5.
You don't need Gran Turismo. It's one game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making. That is the point that I'm making.
Your point is
that is the point that I'm making.
I'm sorry. Your point is
that is the point that I'm making.
It's one game they make cross-gen. Just one.
So what if they made them all cross-gen? How about that? Why not open the doors?
That they didn't do that. They only made.
Well, they could. If this continues, if the chip shortage continues,
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
No. Can and possible because it's the future.
Coulda, shoulda.
It's not out yet. All the new games that come out. What if they say, "Hey, you know what? We're going to make them backwards compatible."
We'll address it in the future. As of right now, they only changed one game. You keep telling me the Medium is one game. Gran Turismo is one game. Yes,
but it's one game that people assumed because Sony said next gen exclusive.
Flight Simulator, it's 2 games. Flight Simulator, you can't play on Xbox One. You can't. Okay. You just can't.
Okay. I can play it on PC though. It's cross-gen compatible that way.
I don't have a PC. I'm a regular person.
Well, you should spend $1,000 and get a PC. It's not hard. You can go ahead and get a pre-build now. It's not difficult.
You know what? You should just go out there and keep working and get a PS5. You'll be okay.
I have one. I'm good, and I have an Xbox too. I'm good. I got everything, Dan. I am not for a lack of systems. I can play all these games. Anyway. I'm good.
Anyway, thank you for pointing.
All right, we went on a little bit of a tangent there. Again, I think the point here.
What they're doing is noble. I think it's good, and I'm glad.
No. Speaking to the actual story, sure. All right, you can speaking the actual story about the PS4, the PS5. Unless this affects PS5 production, which I would assume not. Then
it's not.
Then you can't necessarily get mad at this, right? Because they don't have chips to put in the PS5s. They can't get PS5s out there. Why don't we build some more PS4s and spin up a lab and whatever? And there it is, right? Because they probably have unused production facilities or facilities that aren't running at 100% power, 100% efficiency or whatever. Let's make some PS4s out there, right? There are games that are coming for it, right? So yes. Am I mad at the Gran Turismo thing? Sure. But considering 3 AAA games are coming out that'll be playable on a PS4 smart move for Sony and a good move for consumers. So I'm about.
A good move for consumers. Gran Turismo 7 to be on a PS4. Good move.
You're right. It is. It is a good move for consumers.
Thank you, Sony.
It is a good move for consumers.
I'm gonna give praise where praise is warranted.
Okay, so. There you go. Well,
the
fanboy exudes every now and again. We saw it on full effect here. Listen,
you had the same fanboyism, because if this was Microsoft, you would be praising the high.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Now. 100%. I was 100% praising them when they came out the gate and said from the get-go that we're going to do everything in our power to make all of your current library backwards compatible, because that is consumer as pro-consumer, right? That says, hey, you don't have to spend a lot of money on these games. Your library will be compatible, and a lot of it was, right? They put a lot of work in there. They put a lot of work in there. Original Xbox 360 and Xbox One games, you could pretty much throw the disc in and it would download a digital version. Didn't have to spend any extra money on it. Load it to the hard drive and you're good to go. And they would give you updated visuals with like auto HDR. So there you go.
You know what?
And they came out the gate with that. They came out the gate with that.
And you know what? We came out the gate and said, we understand you can't get systems. We're going to make sure this game.
No, that was a year afterwards.
Most anticipated game.
That was a year afterwards.
That people have been looking for. We're going to make sure you can play it on your old gen system too.
Not out the gate. They went on record at E3 saying next gen PS5 only, and then they went back on it. Out
the gate when they figured out that there's a chip shortage. They didn't know it was a chip shortage.
Not out the gate.
When they put E3. Out the gate when they knew it was a chip shortage.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Sony. Thank you for
moving
looking
on.
out.
Moving on.
Thank you.
Oh, you sound like Ariana Grande.
Thank you.
Next story.
But you know what? If you do have a PS5,
yes,
guarantee you this is going to be exclusive.
Oh yeah, I don't know if the chip shortage continues. It may.
Well,
if
it continues, Sony may do the pro consumer thing and make it cross gen too.
If they came out the gate with that, I'd be about it. Yes, I'm with you.
Well, you can only come out the gate when you know something's going to happen because they're not fortune tellers. But new Twisted Metal game is being developed. Well, if you believe the rumors, and it's going to be a reboot to the Twisted Metal game, and they were reportedly coming out in 2023, right? Because there's a TV series that's coming out, a Twisted Metal TV series.
Yeah, and you may say, why? When was the last Twisted Metal game that came out? And Christ, it was on the PS3, and it did not do well. So that's like
reboot the series.
That's like 6, 7, 8 years. Well, right, and what I'm saying is, if you're going to put out a TV series to a franchise that's been dormant for a while and had a bad last game that came out, people aren't going to be so crazy about it. So I'm going to assume that this rumor is true, that there's a game to go along with the TV series. We just haven't heard about it yet.
Well, we don't know. Well, we don't know if it's going to go. We don't know if it's intent, like if it's like going to be have anything to do with the TV series. It's just a game in the same genre.
Oh, sure.
It's like the same thing that's coming out, right?
Yeah, so it could be completely different, but it's like in that world. Yeah.
There's a rumor that it may be free to play, right? Destruction All Stars. It was free to play. And that was actually made by Destruction All Stars was made by the actual original developer of the Twisted Metal series,
David Jaffe, right?
No, David Jaffe had nothing. David Jaffe is not with that company anymore. Lucid Games made the original Twisted Metal games back in the day, but they made Destruction All Stars, which was okay. I played it with the bots. David Jaffe has nothing to do, according to this report, has nothing to do with the Twisted Metal reboot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's being made by Fire Sprite,
right?
Who is helping out with Horizon, that new VR Horizon game, and they're mostly like, the claim to fame is like VR games. So could Twisted Metal be a VR game for PSVR 2, which you think is coming out this year? I think it's coming out next year.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, then it has to be first person, right? Because Twisted Metal was a third person game where you're outside the vehicle. So the only way it's going to work in VR is, it would have to be that. Which could be awesome. You know, it certainly could. Maybe. You know, they've done driving. I mean, Gran Turismo Sport had a VR version, right? You could play it when you're inside the cockpit as the driver. They did it with Wipeout Omega Collection, right? And some other games have had VR, so they've certainly done it. I think people would be about it. I feel like it's coming. You know, I feel like it's in production, and I feel like we'll hear about it this year because of the TV series that's coming out. Like, I feel like they're going to go hand in hand. They may not have the same plot, but, you know, it'll be like kind of the full-on reboot.
I feel like we'll have like like an E3 presentation style, and it'll be like, yeah, Twisted Metal, right? This is the game that coming out, you know, 2023. And then afterwards, it'll be like, oh yeah, it's a TV show, and here's like a trailer for the TV show that'll come out.
I mean, like, to be fair, too.
TV show could be good if it's, you know, a good script. You know what I mean? I could see the Twisted Metal series. I could see there being like adopting the Twisted Metal games into like a TV series. I could see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who wouldn't want to see the demented Sweet Tooth driving around in his ice cream truck?
I can see that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, someone who is not coming back, since David Jaffe isn't a part of Twisted Metal, someone who's not coming back to a very famous, popular series, Ken Levine, is not coming. He's not involved with BioShock 4.
Oh yeah.
There were reports that he would be, right? That he was involved in BioShock. Apparently, he's not. But people say you will be surprised, but not surprised by his next game.
So he's doing the next BioShock and not calling it BioShock?
He's doing a BioShock.
That's what that means.
A BioShock spiritual successor, even though BioShock is actually coming out.
Yeah. That's exactly what that means to me. And I'm all about it. I love Ken Levine. I mean, System Shock, BioShock, among other things. He is a genius. Some of the greatest games of all time. Just so amazing.
The next game has to have a shock in it, right? Come on. Mass shock. Come on. That's all other games had shock, right?
Exactly. I mean, you know, it could. You know, nobody has the rights to the name Shock, right? BioShock is unique enough. System Shock, unique enough. Totally. I mean, he could come out with Mass Shock, and I would buy it. I'm sure it would be very good. Sad that he's not a part of 4. Once like 3 came out and he closed Irrational Studios, I was like, all right, well, I think he's done. Not to mention that he didn't do 2. 2 was done by 2K Studios, one of the, I don't know, 2K Marin or 2K whatever, Canada maybe or something like that. They put out 2, and 2 was okay. And then he goes, I'm going to come back and do part 3 and do the third one. And then after that, he was out. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to 4. We'll see what happens with it. Because I liked Infinite. You know, a lot of people weren't crazy about it. But
I think Infinite, for me, was the best one. I couldn't get into the first one. I liked the second one because the first one was more like, I felt like it had a lot of horror elements. You know, games.
Yeah.
Where the second one, you played as Big Daddy, so there was really nothing to be scared of because you felt more powerful, right?
Yeah. The mechanics were a bit better in 2 too. Yeah.
Yeah, Infinite, you're a little, it's in the day, it's in the sky, it's bright and airy, and I really liked Infinite. I'm like an hour away from finishing it. I'm probably.
Oh my god! You just got to beat Songbird. Come on, that's it. You got to get up in the airship.
I'm probably not going back to it. I'm like an hour away beating it on the Switch.
Oh my god, the ending is so good.
So I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. If Ken Levine is not involved in BioShock 4, I'm probably gonna like BioShock 4. So,
well, we'll see. Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right,
a person I do like, Phil Spencer, favorite sort of like face of video games right now. Love Phil Spencer.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He sort of on I forgot what podcast he was on. VG Charts podcast, he pretty much said that the Xbox Series X and S, he's patenting both of them, remains the fastest selling Xbox ever in sales. So think about that. Nice. The original Xbox, I can see, right? Like didn't do the best at the gate, 360,
Right.
the Game Busters, right? It led that generation. And I was thinking, I was like, it beat the 360, but I guess so, right? Like, I mean, in sales, we're not counting actual hands of people. It's still, it's in the hands of scalpers, but that still counts because
Well, they bought it.
all these companies are talking about, they're touting the sales numbers, but they know a lot of that is mostly scalpers. So,
well, it's some of them are left holding the bag, sure, but that's only because demand is high. Even if the scalpers weren't there, gamers would have them. People would be using them. So it's just a matter of scalpers want to recoup their money and they don't want to get less than $700-800 for their system, so they're just waiting. And as long as the chip shortage is still there, like they're gonna wait.
So their estimates about around 12 million units right now.
Okay,
it's been like a year.
Right,
it's been like a year and a couple of months.
So that's 12 million shipped, which we can pretty much assume 12 million sold. Yeah,
correct. Since it can't buy it anywhere.
I know.
Well, no, that's not true. Technically,
well, you can buy the S.
Yeah, because he's counting X/S sales.
Well, sure. I think you kind of have to. Yeah.
And the S you can pretty much buy. And I mean, when I went to Texas, I think I took a picture and posted it on Instagram. I was like, Target, this random Target I went to.
They just had them on the shelf. Yeah.
They had like 6 or 7 Series S's in the shelf. Right. So you can pretty much get that. But I mean, this is awesome. I mean, just remember 7-8 years ago, before PS4 and Xbox One came out, analysts said console gaming was dying. Right.
Oh, wow. They always say that. They say PC gaming is dying. They say console gaming is dying.
Yeah. So they also said the new either the new Switch or the successor to the Switch is coming out in 2024.
Yeah.
That's the new analyst prediction. So.
I mean, analysts are going to say that year after year, right? Eventually they're going to be right.
Yeah. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Exactly, right? So what are you going to make a prediction this year? Oh, the Switch is going to come out, the new Switch. Oh, it didn't? Oh, next year, I mean, the new Switch is going to come out.
So that's me with the PS Vita 2, baby. It's coming out. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be my prediction every year. PS Vita 2. All right. Let's shift focus to something that actually may be true. New Killer Instinct game. The rumor is a new Killer Instinct game is in development, and it's going to be made by Bandai Namco. Right now, Bandai Namco doesn't have a good track record with making certain types of games. That's why, famously they were making Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo, I guess, didn't like what they saw, and they pulled it and gave it to Retro Studios. Right, but they do have a pedigree. Bandai Namco does have a pedigree with fighting games. Right, they made Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Ultimate, right? The Dragon Ball series, Naruto series, right? Soul Calibur. So they do.
And Tekken, baby. Let's not forget about Tekken.
And Tekken. Now. They have they have a pedigree with making fighting games. So I would love to see this. I would love to see this. I love Killer Instinct, right? Like Killer Instinct was like one of my favorite fighting games. It was like third on my list when I was a kid, right? Because I had it for the Super Nintendo. Oh. And I was like Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 2, Killer Instinct 3. Like that was
sure.
So
I would love
to see this.
It's definitely about time. I mean, I thought Rare would be doing it because it's Rare's baby, but apparently they're working on whatever that game is. That's not out yet.
Everwild, right?
Right,
Everwild, I think.
Right, and trying to support Sea of Thieves. Which is still not great.
I heard Everwild's like in development hell right now. They don't know what that game is. And it may be canceled.
That's a shame.
But you never know.
Right.
But remember this. Yes, this is a Rare game, but the people who actually made those games aren't there anymore. Like those.
Yeah.
It's there in name only.
I know, but
yeah.
So hopefully Bandai Namco is doing this because I think that you're putting it in good hands if that's the case.
Let me ask you a question. Let me take it to one. I don't want what we had with the Xbox One when we, it was like a disc for the season pass.
You don't want a free to. Oh, okay.
Right, like just put out like an actual game, and you can have DLC character do like Injustice, right, or Mortal Kombat. Right. This is the game.
You want a complete version on a disc. Oh, I'm aware.
That's the game.
I'm aware.
That's it. No season pass. We have later on, 2 years later, what does Mortal Kombat do? They put out like 5 new DLC characters, and then they put
make
out
the gold version. Yeah.
They made the gold version. So that's what I want. Just do that, right?
Well, okay.
You know, but I would love to see Master Chief in it, right? We had the Arbiter. I would love to see Master Chief. I would love, you know, like you could put a Gears of War character in there too. Like, I would, you know,
they did. They did put a Gears of War character in there. They had General Ram, I think.
I know.
Was in there.
But I want the protect. Come on.
Oh, you want like Marcus? You want like Marcus
Phoenix?
Yeah,
Come on. I want Marcus.
Well,
I want Master Chief.
I want
Voodoo Vince. I want Voodoo Vince. All
right, I was with you up until Voodoo Vince.
I want Voodoo Vince in it, baby. I want Conquer Bad first.
No. Well, I mean, Conquer is R-rated, but still, this is not a Smash Brothers game, Dan. This is a brutal, semi-realistic fighting game, ultra exaggerated maybe fighting game. You know, based on reality, hyper realistic fighting game maybe. Everything.
You can have Doom Guy now. You can have Doom Guy in it.
You could. Okay, Doom Guy would fit. Doom Guy would fit,
right? Right now, since they own it,
I was just gonna say that it's not the first time that a Spartan from Halo was in a fighting game. Do you remember the game that they had? It wasn't Master Chief specifically, but they did have a female Spartan in one fighting game.
I do not know. Ooh.
It is a Tecmo fighting game, if that narrows it down. Specifically, Dead or Alive 4, because that was a 360 exclusive.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You could play, and that was like, well, I don't even think it was. I think it was just in the game. You could play as a female Spartan. I forget what her call numbers were, the call sign was, but
that's right.
yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, okay. And you would stick plasma. You would stick a plasma grenade to them when you did the throw, which was kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, they've done the crossover before. They could definitely do it again.
That's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of Doom Guy, or speaking of Doom, right? Well, let's end with this last story. Did you know that there's somebody that they played Doom with a rotary phone? Now, for people out there that are young and have no idea what a rotary phone is, you know, thank God you didn't have to live through this pain back in the day. It was the phone where to dial the numbers, you had to go into a circle, and you had to wait for it to go all the way back, and you had to dial the next number.
All right, it was all analog, right? You'd spin it.
Analog phone.
If you had to dial a 9 or a 0, oh my God, you might as well go make a cup of coffee and come back.
And wait for it to come all the way back around. Yeah. I remember that.
Now it's all like touch tone. Well, hell, we don't even have phones anymore. It's all digital with your cell phone. So even that's like a relic of the past.
So basically, every time, every letter is, I guess,
a number.
Every number is to a certain movement. So
you
just do the rotary part, and it will move the Doom Guy, right?
So if you wanted to go forward, it would be like a 2, right? Back would be a 3, maybe. 1 and 4 would be left and right. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so they had a rat. They had a rat play Doom. It was modified slightly.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Right, so that was a thing. I mean, I've seen Doom on an ATM machine. I've seen Doom. It wasn't playable, but they rendered EM11 on a pregnancy test.
Oh yeah,
you get a little EPT, and you can they managed to get little like 2-bit version of EM11.
So you know what? Elder Scrolls eat your heart out, right?
Yeah,
You can play Doom anywhere too. You can play Doom. You can play Doom on a rotary phone or pregnancy test.
One of the best playable versions I saw was in the Mac toolbar, the little digital toolbar thing, right? When they used to have the little OLED screen built into the MacBooks, you could play Doom inside of that.
Oh wow! Okay,
it was
I didn't know that.
Playable inside the little. I mean, it was like that big. It was so tiny, but you could definitely play it within there.
Okay.
Oh, it's insane. You know.
All right.
Never. It'll never cease to amaze me what you can get Doom on. Love it.
So, all right, that's it. That's it for the stories. Dave, got any good weekend plans lined up? We had a long weekend. Right, 3-day weekend with Martin Luther King birthday on Monday. So
That's right.
I'm off.
That's right. Yep. Same. Same.
What are you getting into?
Well, I'm getting into my Christmas decorations and finally taking them all down.
Finally taking it down. That should have been taken
right.
down a long time ago, my friend.
A long time ago. The Epiphany was on the 6th, man. 12 days of Christmas. That's your cutoff, right? I'm only a couple days away. Cut me some slack. Cut me some slack, man. I just, takes me a while to get my Christmas tree undone.
January 2nd is when it should have been down.
2nd? No, 6th. 12 days of Christmas. You can go to the 6th is the thing. But the problem is my Christmas tree is all tangled up because I wrap each individual branch, which is the way to do it. You put your Christmas tree up and you're not doing that. You're doing it wrong. There are many ways to do it. That is the best. That is the best way to do it because you get a really dense cluster of lights and it looks fantastic and there's no gaps whatsoever. But I have to undo every single branch with the lights. Why don't you just
keep the tree up for Christmas too? Huh? For Christmas too.
I tried that one year, the first year. Oh, just keep it up until Christmas too? No.
Yeah. Keep it up for Christmas too.
No. My brother did that once with a real tree. He had it up until Easter. That thing was brown. It was a fire hazard. He had a real tree. I'm like, what are you doing? You got to take this down. It's dangerous. So, yeah. May not be exciting, but, time has come. Got to move on to the next holiday.
All right. Well, I wanted to binge watch some stuff on Netflix. But they're raising the price again. They just raised the price.
Yep.
Right? So if you want the 4K version, it's now $20, and if you don't have the 4K version, it's now like $15.50. Come on, man. Come on. I might as well just get Disney Plus. Sorry, Netflix.
I mean, I don't know why you don't have it. There's a ton of amazing stuff in Disney Plus.
Well, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it now because I want to watch Hawkeye. I want to watch Winter Soldier. Not the Winter Soldier. The
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
WandaVision. You haven't seen WandaVision yet. You haven't seen Loki yet.
Haven't seen Loki yet.
You're behind. We got to talk about this stuff, man. I'm keeping all these secrets inside. How it all ties together, and it's so good.
I want to watch those. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's
probably what I'm going to do.
It sucks that it's going up again. I guess ballooning budgets, because they do a lot of original content, which costs them a lot of money, and they also cancel a lot of original content way before its time, in my opinion. So they got to recoup their costs somehow. So yeah, $20, man. I definitely got the 4K version because man, does it look pretty. But it's a lot of money. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. That's it. I just have those three. But it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. So, on that note, that is episode 301 in the books. I want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, like you can tell us how we're wrong about our opinions on Gran Turismo 7, let us know. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.